What are you weirdos doing?
Now it's
Oh,
echoing
shit.
again.
First time in a while.
Wickham, I just don't even know what to do with you anymore.
What do you got
So
in
really-
your hand?
Oh, it's for my hand exercises.
Oh, yeah.
What,
That's
you
it.
can't do your normal exercises on camera or what?
How about those? How about those walking? How about those walking exercises?
Yeah.
Oh, how are you loving your little push around scooter or what?
Scooter's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not even going to get into that.
Yeah. The
I got fancy 3 spokes on it.
nice. For those of you that are watching and don't know, Wickham had to get some surgery done. Dude, I'm not liking this echo that's happening here.
Yeah, all of a sudden the echo's back.
Yeah, it's not me.
Am
think
I
it's-
echoing?
No. It only happens if if you talk when like Wickham's mic starts to pick up and it's grabbing both audios or something. But yeah. But I know that McTaggart is absolutely like paranoid that it's him, but it's not.
Well, what I had
The
to learn
first time I'm
before,
trying this.
I know you're fine. Are you on your phone or what?
Yeah, it's my phone in the shop, and I'm routing it. Like the phone's actually backed up to an old like bar speaker from the TV
Nice.
stand here. I think that's working.
Yeah, I can hear shop noises.
Yeah, I can hear shop noises now.
Oh, and myself.
Talking to
It's here. It's just me. So that's got to be Crosby's shop.
No, it's
it's
hold on, let's see.
hold on, let's see.
I know how to do this. Okay, so I have muted Wickham.
Okay.
And we still have that. So let me mute Crosby. Okay, I have muted Crosby. Oh, and it's not happening now. Oh, no, it is. It is a little. Okay, hold on. Muting McTaggart. Okay. Ooh. I think it actually is McTaggart because that's when it stopped. Hold on. All right, so Crosby, why don't you, let's see if we can hear you again.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you great.
Okay.
Wickham, how are you?
Am I okay? I think I'm okay.
I think you're okay. Yeah,
Well,
you're okay.
Your sound is okay.
Yeah, I was going to say. Now here's McTaggart.
that better?
And
It's him.
I think so. I think we're good.
Had to be. Okay.
It's him.
Okay. Yeah, Robert J. Bird. Can you hear me now? Yeah, Rob.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you now. All right. So,
We're back.
yeah, it's Streetcar Chronicles, Ryan saying if someone is on their phone with no earphones, that's the issue. So, that's all good. So we are here and for another episode of PowerShift. Actually, is this our first one of the year? It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, the last one we did was
so.
like New Year's Day or New Year's Eve.
Something like that. Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
First week.
Yeah. So there you go. So hey, welcome and all those things. Happy 2025 and stuff. Scott Liggett in the house, of course, Barnalicious, who I owe a phone call. Rob Bird, Lycan as well. Thank you all for joining us. The topic
Mr. Bird?
today. Yeah, the topic today is actually kind of funny because Mr. Bird is in the house, but is trucks, and I know that we've talked about trucks before, and whenever we talk about mini trucks, McTaggart's eyes glaze over, and he's like, but
That fun in the
But
shop.
that's all right,
No,
I
no mini
understand.
trucks, we'll fix this. Or keep tearing it
I
down.
know, I'm with you. The so we but tonight we're going to talk a little bit different, okay? Because we've talked about at the end of last year, our last show, we talked about some of the trends we thought were coming, what was going to end up next, et cetera, et cetera. And I think honestly, the month that we have not been on here, things are already like in full tilt mode for 2025 in the truck world. And maybe it's just me because I live so hardcore in the truck world, but I'm telling you that everything that's going on is nuts. Ryan has the tailgate throwdown number 2 that's happening this year, which is an all truck drag race that's going to be pretty cool. All the drag and drives are adding tailgate classes, which is pretty cool. And then the number of mini truck projects that I'm seeing is bigger than it used to be, I guess is the way I would put it. There are a lot
Is
of
that
people
including the tangent we got off on last night?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And the thing is that there's what I'm seeing on, Facebook and YouTube and what have you is an increase in the number of mini truck projects that aren't being done by the mini truck people we expect to see them from. I guess that's the way I would put it, right? I
Yep.
mean, yeah, Grinder and you're going to see Panda and all those guys, right? Like obviously, and Dave Chappelle. But I give Dave some credit on that, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But I just feel like there's a lot of new attention on mini trucks and full size trucks. Just trucks in general are just going nuts, and I think I've got some reasons for it. But I want to see what you guys think first off as we roll through the show today. So who wants to go first? Wickman, how about you?
Well, I was going to start off real quick. I don't know if it's public knowledge. I know Dave has put it out, but Dave has bought another mini truck project this past week.
I saw something and now I can't remember what it was. Tell me. Or are we supposed to be telling?
Is that the Typhoon?
That is the Typhoon.
Yes. Okay. He got a Typhoon?
He got the Typhoon from Hot Rod Garage.
No way.
Yes, he bought 3 vehicles this past week from Motor Trend.
Yeah.
And
what do you call that thing? The Spider Nest or whatever?
Yeah, that's Spider Nest is at
Or
Fred's,
Spider Hotel or something like that.
The reason it's called Spider Nest because everything that the guys would go to work on would have Black Widows as soon as they brought it in the shop. The Black Widows were running rampant at Fred's house.
That'd be a burning Typhoon. I'm not gonna lie. Lighter on fire. Brake clean and a lighter takes care of all those things inside one.
Dave has been Dave is unreachable right now because he is going to King of the Hammers. So basically, when he goes out there, he basically shuts his phone off and is like,
Oh
he
yeah,
immerses
because it don't
himself.
work anyway.
You don't work up there.
Yeah.
But I'm sure our little text group between Dave, another Dave, and Rob, the four of us, he will give us a lowdown on what he has planned for this thing. I know he's got with the other two, he's got a lot of irons in the fire, but
Right.
it'll be interesting to see because he has mentioned he wants to go land speed racing.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's cool.
But I don't know what kind of vehicle. But I mean, it'd be kind of funny that is the Typhoon that project that goes to Bonneville because they I know
It
the
wouldn't be the smart
ECTA
one, but
the ECTA has like a street legal event where you can take your car out and run Bonneville.
Who does?
Gotcha.
The ECTA it is like a street legal kind of like run what you brung sort of thing.
That ought to be interesting.
I think it is.
Now, is that at Bonneville or
at Bonneville? Is I think
It is.
you
It
can't-
is. I'm looking it up right now. It is the
you can't
Bonneville
go-
Mile.
it's the mile, and you can't go over 200 or something like that at the event. But it's
Yeah,
open
so it
to
is on the Bonneville Salt Flats, July 11th to the 13th.
Any of us have run an ECTA event, we've all been yelled at for one thing or another.
Yeah. Well, remember, it's new ownership and stuff there too. But
Oh,
yes.
that's right.
Yeah. Steve Strope owns it now.
So it's the Bonneville Mile, which is actually a mile and a half. Man, Arkansas math. Wow. Okay, so it says this will be a 1.5 mile course on the Bonneville Salt Flats. They will be timing traps at the half mile, the 1 mile, and the 1.5 mile. And then there will be an additional mile of shutdown. The course will be positioned as close to the end of the road as possible in order to limit the amount of salt exposure to vehicles.
That's funny.
Right.
Wow. There will be spectator parking on the salt, but no pit areas and no working on vehicles on the salt. So if you have to drive it off the salt to go work on it at the end of the road, no matter how close the track is to the end of the road, it's going to be salty. If it's wet, if it's dry, it's fine, but you're still getting salt on your junk. And if you care about it, do not take it to this event. I don't mean the ECTA guys are great. And I'm sorry, I don't want to sound like I'm bashing because I'm making fun of the spelling and the name. But dude, you don't take anything you actually care about on the salt, period. The race cars is a different thing. They come all the way apart and all the way hosed off and all this treatment and everything. It's insane.
And it still doesn't get all of it out of it.
It does not.
Nope.
If you would have saw the goldenrod when it came apart after all those years,
right,
and how just eaten up that thing was, oh my god.
One thing I'm curious about, this is something that we did in dirt track racing, was cover the car in baby oil.
Nope.
Pam
and WD-40.
So it's WD-40 that you use?
Well, the one to use, bar none, like all the other things doesn't matter. This is specifically made to do exactly this, is a product called Salt Shark. I actually follow one of the guys that invented it on YouTube. It was originally, well, it is aimed at the marine industry. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it's salt remover. It removes all salt. It dissolves the salt and makes anything left inert. So it's really cool.
So it does what, a chemical breakdown or?
Yeah, both.
Basically.
Yes. And it has, and here's the thing, there are other products similar to this on the market. They're incredibly expensive because it takes a lot of it. This stuff, like on their website, it says like the competitors' products use 45 to 100 mils or milliliters per wash. Okay, washing a boat or a car.
Right.
Theirs only uses 5.
What?
It's way less. I mean, it's mixing with water in a foam cannon, like for your or a
Yeah.
pressure washer, right?
Yeah.
But it's really cool. Now they
But that's one of those
are.
kind of things. It's like you want to lift outside or have your junk sitting on like jack stands that are 5 feet up in the air.
It would help, but it's not required. You just need to be able to get to it. But
Okay.
here's the big deal with this stuff. They right now it's aimed at the marine industry, but we've told them, okay, to aim at the race world as well, and they are putting together kits, and have been talking to people about maybe some specific tools that'll help get under a car, like you're talking about, Wickham,
Right.
and a pre-treatment as well. Which it is to wash it off, but you can use it as a pre-treat as well, and then wash it
That's
off
cool.
with it afterwards. It's
Because
really
one
cool.
of the things we did basically Sunday was basically jack the car up, have it like 2-3 feet off the ground on jack stands, and then use basically old school like the yard like oscillating sprinkler that went like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And just
Yep.
put that underneath the car and go out every hour and basically had it in like four to 6 different spots depending on which car we ran that week, and just wash it on each side of the car.
Here's what's great about this product, though, too, and I don't want to sound like the Enviro nut, but it's all biodegradable, number one. But the more important thing, it's marine safe. And so marine safe, meaning it won't hurt fish or any marine life.
Right.
So you can use this on your boat when it's in the water. Like it's, when you hose it overboard, it's fine. And the reason that that's important for Bonneville is that it's really a big deal about dropping anything on the salt. So the reason that they're not allowing pit areas and not allowing people to pit and work on their cars for the ECTA event is because to do so during like the Bonneville Nationals or Speed Week or any of that, you have to put a big tarp down in your pit area and your car must be on it at all times. You cannot park or work on a car that isn't on the tarp. And so people aren't going to do that for this event. So that's why they're saying that. But the beauty of it is that this, if you were to wash your car off at the end of the road, let's say, this stuff isn't going to hurt the salt flats by, washing off the road and onto the flats. So it's pretty cool. And I don't know these guys. Like, I don't, that I'm take my opinion with a grain of salt. I'm not no pun intended.
Aha.
You see what I did there on accident? Because I'm stupid. But it seems like a really great product, and I am excited to use it for sure. So, Liggett's asking, why is there a Sasquatch working on a Chrysler Cordoba here? That's not a Cordoba. It's a wrong year Charger. Thank you very much.
It's all the same.
It's because he's Hemi swapping it. David Newburn in the house. What is up, brother?
Hello, David Newburn.
Looks like you guys had fun on Sick Week, which is awesome. We're going to talk about that next week, dude. You should come on the show. Seriously. The
infamous couch.
And the what?
The infamous couch.
Well, the infamous couch wasn't his. That was Garrett's.
That was Garrett's.
And that was, in a career made up of an incredible number of really stupid decisions. That's one of the top ones. The fact that he didn't lose literally $500,000 on that trip is unbelievable, because the lady that ran into the couch when it fell off the car on the freeway apparently only hurt a fender and didn't crash into other people and kill anybody.
Right.
No offense, but don't be an idiot. Jesus Christ.
I saw photos of today where the couch has been positioned on the starting line at South Georgia Motorsports Park, which I thought was kind of funny.
Yeah. It's not the nastiest couch that's ever been at South Georgia. I can tell you that.
If being on the truck subject, truck runs, I mean, there was some furniture that be brought in that was highly questionable where it came from, and it got left there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, to finish up on this land speed event, though, let me tell you this. So, let The rules are the same as the Arkansas Mile. 2009 and newer cars can run in factory trim up to 199 miles an hour. Any cars are allowed. You got to look at the safety regulations. If you exceed the speed limit for your safety equipment, your time slip and run will still count, but you must compete at a shorter distance for the rest of the event. For example, if your street car runs 206 in the mile and a half, you can then only run to the 1 mile for the rest of the event. The cost is $1,650. Ouch. That hurts.
How bad you wouldn't run Bonneville?
Yeah. Nope. No gracias. I've done it in the real Z car. Okay. So
Terry
next
Buick's here.
up, Crosby, what do you
Yes.
is the give me some insight as what do you think are some of the things impacting an increase in popularity of custom trucks? And I don't mean the guy that puts a leveling kit and a set of steps and some lights on his truck, which is awesome. I totally encourage that. But
I'm just looking at all the availability on all the 4-wheel drive stuff that's coming out,
yeah,
which is kind of ironic because most of the guys that are putting it out are not 4-wheel drive guys. They are on the ground, lowered vehicle guys,
yeah.
which is kind of interesting to see a lot of the hot rod stuff. The new TCI chassis for the Blazers and the trucks is really nice. The one
Well,
Roadster Shop's doing is very nice. I mean, both
yeah.
of them are great for their purpose, but I think that's going to be because of that Blazer body that Premier's got and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to see a lot of nice 4-wheel drive trucks this year, which is just ironic as hell coming out of my mouth. But
Well, it's interesting you say that because I think that there's some merit to that. And actually, McTaggart, who thought he wouldn't have as much to add to this, I think will be able to back me up on this. The chassis that are available for 4-wheel drive from the Roadster Shop, and now the new chassis that's available from TCI, Total Cost Involved, which has traditionally been a lowered custom truck and street rod, chassis company. They have built a honestly way more off-road capable chassis than the Roadster Shop one, and that's not to take anything away from the Roadster Shop one, but it's solid axles front and rear, long travel, 4 links. Casey Curry and the gang of desert off-road racers that we all know and love in Southern California has helped
you
with
can't
some
see
consultation
any of their influence in it at
not
all.
at all. Yeah, big Fox coilovers. It's badass, right? But the reason I was mentioning this to McTaggart, we have seen a resurgence that started with the new Ford Bronco, and now into an area that I know some people don't like, but the look is there, and McTaggart knows firsthand. The new Scout. The new Scout Auto Company has unveiled these 2 new models that are EVs, and McTaggart, you were at the launch for those, and I think that's a sign of like retro and something unique that people want to see.
Did he seize up?
His mic is muted.
Oh yeah, hold on. Your mic is muted, dude. You got to unmute it.
Okay, there we go.
There we go.
I didn't notice. Sorry. Everything's so small on one phone. No, you're right, because the full-size trucks, full-size SUVs, large SUVs like Jeep CJs, Broncos, stuff like that, those have never really fallen off. It's just been there's a different trend taking place, but they've never really disappeared. They've never really fallen off. With the Scout, I mean, you look at the thing, even new, yeah, they're a bit bigger than I would personally like, but they're boxy. They're designed with a solid axle, front and rear. They're designed around people first. The electronic gimmickry is very limited. It could have done a lot worse. I think as far as that goes, they've just bridged the gap between what a new car buyer would want versus what somebody like us would want in a truck. but those I don't have the order numbers. You put me on the spot there, but I mean, people were putting orders in 5 seconds after they launched them. I'm not kidding you. I know two people, one of which is in the industry, placed orders as soon as the guy was done speaking before people got to go up and do close photography.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, and here's my thing. The reason that I bring up the newer trucks like that and the retro stuff is that I feel like the market for truck products like again, a level up kit, wheels and tires, steps, lights, etc., is a huge market for the guy that's buying a Ram truck or a Silverado or a F-150 and driving it every day. And honestly, almost never putting anything in the bed and being a mall crawler. And that's great. It's good for the industry. They look cool, all those things. But
and here's a
the
idea to run by. Are you seeing a trend where people are getting tired of having all the extras and they want to go back to that bare bones basic truck where it's just maybe it's got an updated sound system or it's got the overdrive or something like that? Do you see that being a bigger trend where I want that old look, but just a couple of extras?
Well, and that's exactly what I think it is. I think that when a guy bought a Silverado, 10 years ago and was going to start putting all the accessories on it, you had some uniqueness to it, right? But a trend that started in the 90s, but in a very different way, it is huge right now, which is upfitting trucks at the dealerships, right? So the reality is that some real percentage, and I'm guessing, totally guessing, but I'm guessing 50% of the trucks that you see going down the road with a leveling kit and custom wheels and steps and lights came from the dealership that way, right? And so I think that the guy that bought the truck and then decided what he was going to do to it, now he looks at that and goes, well, crap, if I do that to my Silverado, it's going to look just the same as the one the guy bought from the dealership without knowing anything about how to make this cool. And so I think that those people, and it's a niche market, I know, but I think those people, meaning the us's, are looking for something that, man, just makes them feel like I don't need all the crap. I just want it to be cool. Maybe I put one or two little things on it, but I can still make it my own because it isn't going to be the same Silverado that everybody's buying or whatever. That's where my head's sort of at.
Right, because you see those trucks like there's that trend that started a couple years back where they were doing retro paint jobs on Fords and Chevys.
Yep.
That was a thing, and then now you've got there's a couple dealerships that will do a realistic Ford Lightning where it's just a bare bone cab F-150 that stomps straight off the dealership lot.
Yep.
And it's the basic work truck, maybe one or two additional niceties, and everything else is what the buyer is craving versus having to do it themselves.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, so here's my other thing though that I think, and this is the one that I feel like is the multiple hits, right? So you've got all of these guys who are, have been mini truckers for a long time, right? Me, Crosby, Wickham, Dave Chappelle, right? There's a jillion of us out there, right? Well, I feel like when you have somebody like Dave who's had this, great success with the growth of his YouTube channel in the last year or two, right? I mean, like a lot of growth. It's amazing. He's great. I love that guy. I love how not pro all of his stuff is because it just feels good to watch it, right? And Dave is a mini trucker and he's never, ever apologized for that. And quite frankly, he's two very weird combos to most people in that he's a hardcore off-road guy, rock crawling and that kind of stuff, and hardcore mini trucker. And those things seem so diametrically opposed. You know what I mean? But he has done a really good job, I think, of getting the normal public looking at mini trucks and getting guys who may have one sitting in the yard still from way back or every once in a while think about building one again. They see him do that. They see him with his Mighty Max. You see him with his hard body, Datsun or Nissan. like all that, and it's inspiring. I think a lot of guys want to, get into trucks that way. But on the other side is also the fact that there's a bunch of ego that has driven trucks and racing into each other like never before. And when I say ego, what I mean is when Rob McGregor built Hellboy, which is his first pro touring truck, he built that thing because trucks are his business and because he wanted to go kick ass on some cars. It was an ego thing, right? It was I want to go whoop ass on guys in Camaros and Mustangs, okay? And nothing wrong with that. Like, I'm all in, right? I love it. His truck is rad. But it's the same way in drag racing. It's the same way in all the racing, types that you can take a truck, Bonneville, etc. It's why Rob Burr just said trucks are the fastest growing class at their autocross events. And everybody, you can bring anything you want. And what's funny about it is a guy with a full size Chevy pickup or a full size Ford or whatever, that's a big thing. Like, making one of those go fast is real work, or can be. But what I laugh at are the guys in S10s and, Nissans and whatever that, want their own truck class when they weigh the same or less than a Fox body Mustang, have as good a suspension. Like, you know what I mean? Like, an Arrow is just as good. Some of that stuff doesn't make sense why guys think they need their own because they, so they can just only race against, truck guys. I mean, with that said, again, Ryan's putting on a tailgate throwdown. That's a truck only event. I love that. That's great. There are a lot of people out there successfully racing trucks in all kinds of, disciplines nowadays. And the battle has not only become about the trucks themselves, but about the chassis and suspension under them, because a bunch of guys who used to only build hot rod parts are now building big pro touring chassis for trucks. Pro touring chassis for trucks are coming from, I mean, I would say that 5 years ago, there were there were 3 companies that were doing pro touring truck chassis. And now there's a dozen or more. It's pretty impressive.
See, I've got to throw a wrench in this one. I have to, because for guy who's running an S10, guy who's running a square body on stock chassis, diesel racer, stuff like that, they're working with the truck that they were given. I'm of the mindset, once you start doing full chassis and that, you're building a silhouette racer. And I really don't have anything against that, but be honest about what you're doing. You show me a C10 that's on a roadster shop chassis built to kill on an autocross, that's a silhouette racer. That's all that is to me. It looks like a truck, yes, but it's not the truck. Compare that to somebody who's got a C10 on its stock chassis, like it's an easy shot. But say Freiberger's muscle truck, the one that you helped build.
Yeah, right.
That I would consider a truck. Yes, it's slightly modified, but that's still more or less the original chassis it came with in 73, 74, whatever year it is.
Yeah.
And that truck calls balls. That's an accomplishment. To buy a chassis, sling it under a truck, and go, I'm going to go kill things now. No doubt you will. Congratulations.
You should.
Quick, but to me, it's a race. It's not. It's a silhouette. It's not the true truck, and that's
what like Jesse Vaughn with Jesse Vaughn with Level 7 Motorsports out of Southern Indiana. I met him, probably 15 years ago on Power Tour, and he had a 240 drift car. Time attack car that he had built, and sold that, and ended up building an C10, which was like one of the first C10s that was going to Good Guys events, the yellow and white one. And he built that truck.
Sounds familiar now that you say that.
He built that truck to a point where he had to basically put a chassis underneath it if he was going to be any more competitive than what he already was. I mean, he had the stock rails, but he caged it. I mean,
Otis
did all the suspension stuff, but it was like basically said, I'm to a point where I have to do something completely different with this thing if I'm going to be be winning. And now that he started an OBS project that is basically the next level, I guess, for him, where he's going to be building like a full-on race truck. But I think he's still using the stock frame rails, but doing a lot of modifications for that truck to be competitive. But I haven't seen any postings from him in a while on social media, so I don't know if he's just. I know he's super busy with his shop, but
What are you shaking your head about, Chad?
Because Otis is pissed. He hates you guys. We get on the podcast and he's like, "Why are you not paying attention to me?"
Otis, that's just Otis.
He's pissed. He's barking. He came in here a minute ago and he literally just grabbed something off my desk on a drive-by and just goes walking and gives me the side eye with it in his mouth. Like, yeah, what are you going to do about it?
But to touch on the comment that Mike Cotton made, the C10s and the OBS are basically our mini trucks now. I meant I play around on Marketplace and basically change my search to different areas. And right now, my search is centered in Wichita Falls, Texas. And trucks are you can find trucks for $1,000.
Oh, all day there, yeah.
Yeah, but what percentage of them?
What do you mean?
What percentage are $1,000?
How much?
There's
No,
quite
I
a
mean,
few.
I mean, how rusted are they?
That's just
I got
it.
you, yeah.
It's North Texas. There is hardly any rust. I mean, these aren't.
Yeah, your idea of hardly any rust and my idea of hardly any rust are completely different things.
Yeah, they're gonna
Being
have.
fair, though, you're in SoCal,
They're gonna need
it's-
rockers on some of them. And a
Maybe.
cab
I mean,
corner, maybe, but that's the
Yeah.
worst they're gonna be.
If you can swing a foot out of the bottom of it
No.
without
not.
opening the
Nothing
door,
like that.
in my backyard, which point where it looks like a truck from 20 feet is good enough. No. A little bit of pinholing in the rockers, nothing compared.
Yeah, I mean these trucks. are 90% solid. I mean,
yeah, Carrie Bewley just popped up. I remember a certain, I think it was a Impala wagon that he bought out of New Mexico because he was trying to find something rust-free, and it came in and had about, I don't know, 9% of the floor still in it. Am I right, Carrie? He'll pop
that
back
was the
up
thing.
here
Is
in a
like
second.
my OBS that I had a little bit of surface rust on the passenger floorboard because of I had a leaky core support, which I didn't know about, and it basically soaked to the carpet. But because when the core support finally went, was like, oh shit, I need to change this, and that's when I pulled the carpet out and realized like, oh crap, and like that day it was luckily just surface rust and sanded it down and hit it with some of that rust primer stuff like Pour 15 and was done with it.
I have one of the original mini trucks coming in on Friday.
Really? That's a great transition. Tell me about it.
A 65 Falcon Ranchero.
Oh, yeah. That's not a truck.
It's got a bed. Maybe it's a ute, but
it's a ute. Okay, but that makes me think though. So how I know McTaggart doesn't look at this, but I know Wickman does, and I think Crosby does. The Mini Truckin' Where Are They Now Facebook group.
Oh, you mean the ones where they show up in the junkyards and stuff?
Oh yeah, or people post up a picture and go, "Hey, does anybody know where this is now?" And ones that were in the background in like Mini Truckin' stories and stuff. Dude, yeah. I don't know that I knew this. I felt like I didn't. If I did, maybe me and him talked about this before. But on this group, somebody posted up the D50, the Mitsubishi Mighty Max like mine that Courtney had way back in the day. That was
me.
Oh my God.
Yes.
I posted that.
It was black and it was on Z71 saw blades, which I have a set of for my truck. And Wickham posted it up and I couldn't believe that. I did not remember that Courtney had that. I cannot imagine that he and I, in all of our mini truck discussions, didn't talk about that at some point, but I did not remember it.
A
And I
famous
was like,
negative
oh my
camber
God.
line: fat guys in little trucks.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Love it.
There was a truck that showed up. It was just built in 1982. It was a Datsun 620 with a roof cut off it and like a roadster style windshield post on it
Oh,
with a
yeah.
turbocharged triple S 2000 cc motor, and it was a Z car 5-speed in it, all
Huh.
black, laying on the ground, and it showed up in a picture somewhere about 2 weeks ago, and I cannot find it.
Oh, no
I mean, the
way.
thing was absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
It had Fuchs Porsche wheels on it.
Yeah.
It was way ahead of its time.
I just sent you a
I'll
picture of it, Chad.
I know. Yeah, I'm opening it right now. Here is
But yeah,
Courtney's. Here's
uh,
Courtney's Mitsu.
I
Mm-hmm.
had just sold my 61 Chevy wagon to a guy in Oxnard and was traveling back to Texas with an empty trailer. And
That was at his house in Orange County
yeah,
on Tango and Concerto.
Huh. That's where he lived?
Yeah,
literally right on the corner. His house was
yeah.
on the corner.
That's awesome. I never went to his house, so I don't know.
Oh, we were there a
But
lot.
he was literally almost held a gun to my head to buy that truck and take it back to Texas just to get it out of his driveway because he knew
Really?
I had a pocket full of cash from selling that car. And he made me a
Yeah.
screaming deal on it. And I already had my extended cab Ranger, my extended cab Mazda, and I forgot what else I had. And I was like, I cannot take on another vehicle right now. There's no way that I can have all these vehicles at one time. Because I was single and just, I think a few months later met Amanda.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, that was like I was still single.
Hey, McTaggart. You don't need to answer. You just need to look at the thing. This is a proper mini truck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is one of those Mazda regular cab long beds for sale in Tucson that is rust free, that needs a little bit of work, but it did run and drive. The person
The thing is,
selling it,
I don't have anything against mini trucks. I really don't. I was raised when I was probably late elementary, early junior high. We had a B26. We had a Datsun 620 with a Z car engine swap. It's about that color too, actually. We had a few of them. It's just
okay.
for me, it's not something I'd reach out for. I would rather have a Ute. I'd rather have an Elky or Ranchero,
Yeah.
or
I
a
get you.
regular
Nothing wrong with
half
that.
ton. I would
Nope.
prefer a lowered half ton, well, Chad, you may
Right.
remember this one from way back when I had an 84 D100 short bed,
Oh, yeah.
318 4-speed truck that I ended up having to sell because I was in the military at the time and had to get rid of a car. That one I would have kept. That would have been a great one to do. It's a size thing for me.
Yeah. Oh,
I
yeah.
am tall. It
Yep.
just doesn't work.
Ooh.
I
Hey,
appreciate the build, but
we
to
were
me,
just talking about that motor, Chad.
I know. I love it.
Yeah, it's just a lot of
Like,
these. They're showpieces to me. It's not quite usable.
right.
It's kind of like early '90s 4-wheel drive magazine trucks where they were just like tons of shocks and real pretty. It's like
I love them.
I
But
couldn't buy
yes,
that.
they weren't useful. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah,
and I think that's the point where I would love to have another Mini, but it's just the practicality of it. It's like I am not petite anymore, and something that
I'm
if I
no
had an
taller than I
OBS,
ever was, so I'll fit.
so if I had an OBS or a Ford F-150, that it's almost those trucks now are like mini trucks compared to the trucks that are on the road today. I mean, you park.
Well, that's true. That is true because trucks today are physically like my square body next to a new dually is, I mean, it literally is half the size. I'm not even exaggerating as far as height. The width is also a little narrower for sure, but the height, like and my truck's stock height, the top of the hood is like not even halfway from the ground to the top of the hood on a new one. It's unbelievable.
Because
and
the last
and
mini I had in my S15 regular cab short bed, it was lowered, and I was driving it, and I was sitting at a stoplight, and a 2014, 2015, 16, whatever, Silverado pulled up next to me at the light, and I'm looking at the bottom of this mirror on the door.
Yeah.
There is just like the truck is just so damn big. And that's when I got to the point and was like, are these guys going to see me if they're jacking with their phone or something like that? And that's when I kind of like, I that was one of the reasons why I got rid of it, just because I just felt unsafe, like driving it.
Yeah.
It's because of the size.
Well, you know, I think that, Cotton, I love you. Cotton says, McTaggart, it's okay to admit you love minis. This is a safe spot.
Mike, the day that you put in a
Wow.
picture of you hugging that Murata is the day I may consider admitting that. The
Oh,
closest I've ever
okay.
actually, me and Mike have something in common. So Mike's pretty much daily driver, to my knowledge, is like a 99, 2000-ish Chevy GMC Blazer, Jimmy, whatever.
Yeah.
That is the closest thing I've owned to a mini truck. I had a 99 two-wheel drive Blazer, and it was an absolute pile of shit from start to finish. Only beaten by that turd of a Cruise that I owned a couple years back. But if you stood away from it and looked at it, it was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Chad owns a percentage of one of those right now.
I do. Yeah.
The
but,
Blazer, no, it's
yeah,
you have an
no, a
S10.
Blazer. He's making fun of my half-done Blazer.
Oh, that's right. You got the Blazer, but I'm thinking of the round body S10 you have.
Oh no. So okay, so here's the deal. So I think
I'm still kind of. Hold on a second. I need to comment on your last comment, Wickham.
Okay.
How do you get a round body S10?
That's what
I can't even fit that in my skull. There was nothing round about an S10.
There's a square S10, and then the late model S10 was round compared to the first.
Well, one's less square than the other one. That's all.
That's true. That is true.
But
I also
one
call
is
it a
round
body S10, so you can too, Wickham. It's a safe space.
That's like saying I have a square fucking egg.
It is.
Oh.
It's a square egg. I like it.
If you argue about square versus round body.
Oh.
It makes zero sense.
Okay, kids. All right. So now that we've established why we think trucks are going crazier and crazier, the last few years went from not OG, but second gen C10s to square bodies. Now OBSs are becoming the hot deal. Obviously, all the other eras to come after that were always popular. But these are the ones that people are hot rodding now. And the same goes for Fords. There's a bunch of classic Fords that weren't as popular before. The bump side and dent side Fords, and now even square body Fords, which that's a face only a mother could love. So I don't understand how anybody would want to do one of those, but to each his own. But the I have seen one particular trend in the mini truck world recently, or at least I've noticed it more. But let's see what you guys think. What are some trends that are going to happen this year that you think are going to be the thing that everybody starts doing, or what have you? and it could be full size or mini trucks, lifted, lowered, whatever. You tell me. What do you think, Wickham?
The resurgence of the early '90s look. I mean, between I came across when I was trolling through the Facebook. There's a guy out of Dallas selling a set of Boyds that he were original ones that he sent off to Chris Boyd to have refurbished, and he had 3 or 4 sets of Boyds in his garage floor that were wrapped up, and so people are going for that. And yeah, it's neat that Chris is doing that kind of thing, but when these wheels are 22, 24, 26 inches, yeah, it's the look, but it's not, in my opinion, correct.
I agree. I agree with
and
you
also,
on that. Me and Crosby had a conversation about wheels last night. And yeah, I like a 20-inch wheel on certain things and 18s and all those things, but I also like 13s on certain things, and 14s on certain things and 15s on certain things. I feel like for our era, you, me, and Crosby of mini trucks, like a 17-inch wheel is a pretty big wheel for our
Heck,
era.
when
It was the mid
when I
90s
first
before it
started in
got
the
bigger.
mini truck stuff, 16s were huge.
Oh
That's
yeah.
the
Yeah.
biggest wheel you could get.
Yep.
yeah,
And
that
then
was
And-
and then 17s became a big deal. And then obviously people went then to 18s and 20s, but really like in the late 80s to mid 90s, even into the late 90s, or yeah, I would say late
late
80s to
90s,
late
early
90s.
2000s.
Though that's that 10-year period was the heyday of mini trucking, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's not to say that people haven't built trucks that are better than ever since, like no question. But the shows were the biggest, the clubs were the biggest, the events were all the biggest, all that stuff back then. There were so many more people driving them on a regular basis on the road, that kind of stuff. But there weren't that many, and until the late 90s that were doing anything bigger than a 17-inch wheel. So when
Right.
I build my Mighty Max, it's going to be on a 15 or a 15, 16 or 17. I already have one set of 16s for it. I'd like to get a set of 17-inch billets. And I'm working on a line on a set. And then like 15-inch Steelies, I think would be cool with the original, Mighty Max hubcaps or something, But
Or
I
a set
agree
of
with Wickham. I think
15-inch Majestics.
that'd be good too.
But there's also a couple companies that are out there actually doing all the billet interior pieces that like Empire and Trends did
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
90s.
Yeah, the guy that did all the machine work for Empire bought all that stuff from Buck. So he's actually making all that stuff.
Oh, so okay. So that's what I was wondering if someone
That's
bought
the
like all
original. The son of the original machinist is still making all that stuff.
okay.
That's
So that's
cool.
what I was wondering if that was somewhere someone was
Yep.
got a hold of original
Yep,
plans or
one of the places I worked at as well.
Well, so
But yeah.
along those lines of what Wickman's talking about, here's the thing. Crosby just sent me a picture, and it's funny because it is it is not
Not
a
a
mini
mini truck.
truck. Yeah, but it is. Hold on, let me grab the picture.
Well, in Crosby's office, there he has a picture of what I consider one of the best, if not the best, OBS Chevy trucks ever built from that era.
Yeah, I agree.
You talking about the
Empire
black truck?
Yes, the Empire
Yeah.
truck.
Yep.
And
it was that truck's actually a V6 truck too.
that was right. I'm like I don't like I'm not a fan of the B6, but I meant
Yeah, but it had a Whipple on it.
Yeah, that's the thing. It had a Whipple on it, and it's kind of like I mean, to someone that was just
Buck's got that truck back. He bought it back. Buck bought it back. He owns it again.
To the show enthusiast that's walking through the show and sees that truck with the hood open, they're gonna like, oh shit, he's got a small block in there with a Whipple. He's not gonna stand there and count the cylinders.
Yeah. Yeah, but that Ford truck that you just had up, Chad, that's that one I built for Alfred. That's got an LS and a 5-speed in it.
Oh wow, that's cool.
That thing is a freaking go-kart.
Damn.
Well,
wasn't it?
No, it's a short bed.
Was it a short bed? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason
it's static.
Yeah. The reason that this is appropriate for what I was going to say is that the other thing that I'm seeing a sort of uptick in is vintage mini trucks. So, 70s at the newest and into the 60s and stuff. 60s and 70s minis, like I've seen a ton more getting built. Old Toyota Stouts, because that bitchin' chick in Australia is building the one. What is it? Chaos Metal, I think it
something
is.
Like that.
She's a bad ass.
That truck is amazing.
Shaper.
And another neat truck you forgot about, mini truck that's also a good race truck, is Bob Bulio's.
Oh yeah,
little was it 521 or whatever it is.
Yeah, and what's interesting about that truck though is that it's sort of what a shadow racer, as McTaggart called it, because Beaulieu's truck is a Miata. They literally just cut the body off the Miata and the body out at the bottom out of the truck, and the whole thing down, and it's rad. And I've driven it, and it is a riot. It weighs like 6.5, maybe 7 pounds. And it makes like 135 or 150 horsepower or something.
I think it says 129 on it says 116 on the front fender, if I remember right.
Oh, okay. There you go. And Rob is saying it's
what did Rob say?
Boilo.
Okay. Oh, sorry, Rob.
It's but yeah, but the reason that I brought that up, we're used to seeing these trucks like the Ford that we were just showing, that are this cool patina. This thing's got mild patina on it, nothing crazy, but we're used to seeing that on old full-size trucks because they were farm trucks and all that, and we can like romanticize how they got so cool looking or whatever. But the reality is that hasn't been very popular in the mini truck world in recent years. But there are a bunch of dudes that are putting these things together, and I've seen guys like Puddin's Fab Shop did one. He did a stout, and he put it on a later Tacoma chassis.
Chad, note the S10 Blazer in the background with the dog dish hubcap.
Yeah, it's Jay's.
That's Jay's house.
Yeah, exactly.
It's got smoothies on it and dog dish hubcaps.
Yes, on Chad, a Blazer like Cotton's.
Chad, I sent you a picture of a truck in a shop here in Colorado at a mutual friend of ours.
Oh yeah.
That I'm not going to say whose it is, but just knowing that this little crazy build is going on, and probably I'm not sure if it's going to be a roller this year, but I'm going to say probably next year.
Pretty cool. That's a Datsun
521.
It is a 521, right? Okay.
Yeah.
And
is that a 21 or a 20?
2021. It's all the same.
Okay. I thought that the only thing I didn't ever like about these trucks, but I understood why they did it, is you can see my cursor in here, is the fact that the bed stops there and so you don't get the rocker, because basically the dude that designed the bed, like looked at the thing and said, "Oh, it should be even with the bottom of the door," and didn't realize there was a rocker down there, and so he just didn't build the rest of that.
Yep.
It literally could have been this down here; it would have been perfect. That's the only thing that annoyed me about all those old Datsun pickups. But those things, the front end of this thing is so good, so good.
And it's getting an LS.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
And I don't know a lot, but that could, no, that's not an S10 spindle. I thought it was for.
I have a close up picture of that. I will send you.
Oh, okay. Excellent.
That actually looks like a AFX spindle.
It might be. Come on, Wickman. There we go. All right.
It is.
It is. Yep. Yeah. So that's just a aftermarket generic first gen Camaro and everything else spindle.
Camaro, A-body, Chevelle
yeah.
stuff.
All of them. Pretty cool. I like where they're going with the arm. I could get behind that.
Steering angle.
Wait, what is he going to do with this thing? Is it he's going to race it and stuff, you said?
I'm not sure if it's just a cruiser.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to, I guess I'll say drag and drive. So I mean, that may narrow it down. Whose place is that in Colorado?
Oh, I know. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
So yeah, that's why I was hesitant.
Well, he didn't get that thing out of Colorado. It's got too much metal still attached to it.
Right.
There's you can find some rust-free stuff down in Southern Colorado, believe it or not. So
what's funny is that, these new projects that people are doing, including OG Ford Couriers, like Mike Brooks is talking about, AKA Mazdas. They, again, people are looking for something different, and mini trucks have always been differentiated by paint job and wheels, right? Like you could have 14 OBS trucks out in the showgrounds, and the wheels and paint were totally different, and it made it feel like a completely different ride. But I think that there are people that get, go, oh my God, another Mazda, another, Nissan, another Mitsubishi, whatever. And they start looking for another option and something that's going to, turn heads. And they end up going and getting an older Mini and then doing a full fab job on it.
Well, that's the whole purpose of mine is like, it's going to look like other ones. I mean, with the wheels, because I'm running a 17-inch wheel, but I want rubber so that, because I am going to drive this thing. I'm not a trailing person. I want to drive my junk wherever I go.
Yep.
But yeah, the front end is airbag, but the rear is static.
Yeah.
And that's the plan for it, just because when I get the engine built, when I go to put power to the ground, I don't want to be flopping around with a air rear suspension, even though, it can be done when set up properly.
Oh, yeah. You can't make horsepower make something run with air on it.
Nope. Can't do
I
it.
know. But
McTaggart, what was it you were wanting to say? I know you had something you wanted to say.
I got no dog in this fight. You know that?
Oh, I know.
Like the only
well,
thing.
that's why it's like my plan is to do a setup like the OG muscle truck. I mean, 4 Lincoln coilovers and just be done with it and just have that just simplicity. Just something.
The muscle truck? The muscle truck was originally on air.
Yeah, it was originally on air.
Yeah,
but
it's
now
not anymore.
It's 4 Lincoln
Not
coilover
anymore.
now.
Yeah.
If I were to do something, I would take a cue from Holly's old Hemi swap Dakotas, the first and second gen Dakotas they did, especially the white one. That
Good
was
trucks.
I drove both of them. That white first gen Dakota was a stomper. It cornered. I may have taken that out on NCM Motorsports Park and had a little fun with it. Maybe.
Dude, that thing felt like a new car as far as like no shakes, no rattles, no any. I mean, it was a very tight, very nice truck. And I don't know how much horsepower it made. It wasn't insane power, but it was great power. It was perfect for that thing, like perfect.
If
That
the way
That is a
that
truck.
that
way I-
Dakota that Truckin had too. Remember
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
the one
I
with the
forgot
5
they had.
speed in it, the
Yeah.
360 with a supercharger on it. That thing was
Yeah,
a
well, the
freaking
one that
monster.
McTaggart's talking about has a Gen 3 Hemi in it because it
Right.
was the CEO of Holly's. And the red one, also great. I liked the square body style of the white one better, but you know.
The white one to me drove a little bit better. Not that the red one was a slouch in any department, regardless of what transmission it had, but the white
Right.
one was tight. The white one, I don't know how else to explain it, so I'll go like this. If I ever could find a way to make Mustang into a Ute and actually have it be like a Stomper 5.0, that's exactly how I'd want it to feel. It had brakes, it could corner, it felt small, it felt useful.
Right. It was a cool truck. I like that thing. And you know, I guess that's one of the deals too. You know, I think I hope that they're just like for hot rods and drag racing and everything else. I hope that there are young people that are wanting to do it. But right now, I feel like not just us old guys, but there's this like feels like this resurgence of guys our age that are like, you know, that have gotten rid of their mini and haven't had one in years, and they're like, oh dude, I need to do a mini again. You know, maybe they've done something else that was you know, more of a family, you know, custom truck to take the shows, and now they're deciding, you know, my kids aren't going to ride in the car with me anyway because they're 13 and they hate me. So I'm building, daddy's building himself a truck. You know,
It's
I
just
mean,
Yeah.
the best thing because you're looking at the sport trucks. Sport trucks came through when I was a kid. So you built it, you sold it, you had brats. The brats are gone. The brats, they're finishing up high school, they're going to college, they're hiding in the basement, will never come out again, whatever. Time to shine. You know, what are you going to do? Sit in the house all day? Screw that.
yeah, I love it.
That's what's funny. Is like my
Cotton, shut your mouth. Hey, I hope I'm at midlife because that means I'm going to live to be 104, you old bastard.
I was about to say, midlife, you think about it, 70 is about as good as we can really expect. And after that, it's just a gift. I'm 42.
Yeah.
I'm turning 42 this year. I'm
I know.
midlife
Yeah,
crisis.
you are not. Yeah, this midlife crisis should have happened 5 years ago. You know.
Yeah.
I'm
If
already
this
an
is
old man territory.
midlife, I'll be 120. So
Right. I know. Crosby's old.
Yeah, Crosby is
Yeah.
old.
still look better than you guys.
True.
You're the
Hey,
one who belongs
he's
to
not
the
lying,
top.
Wickman. He's not lying. Oh God.
Well, the way I'm going, it's like I'm not going to see another couple years with this latest injury. So
Yeah. You better not. Yeah, you need to be careful, Mr. Falling down the stairs.
yeah, it's like
Well,
Hey,
well, if you
just
keep banging your head and stuff, you'll see them, but you just won't remember them.
well,
Hey.
yeah, my right side is basically completely shit now. So
hey,
Well,
hey.
look at the bright side,
Here's
dude.
my deal, dude. If you're gonna try and get rid of your wife by pretending that she pushed you down the stairs, she needs to be home to have pushed you down the stairs.
I was taking the trash out of all fucking things.
Likely story.
Well, we know that's bullshit.
And she just shoved me off the stairs.
As she pulls up in the driveway, what's going on, officers? What's the problem?
Luckily, the neighbors.
He's
heard
not
me.
dead yet. I mean, is he okay?
All the other neighbors heard me first before the wife did. I'll say that.
I know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
when you
that's
yell,
what I
God
was saying.
damn it, not again.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was establishing an alibi.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Okay, so Michael Mobley is saying he's surprised we don't see more S10s in the industry. I love the baby square bodies. I am assuming, Mobley, that you mean in the pro touring world. And I too am surprised at that. And the reason that I say that is twofold. Number one, because they're cool and they're small and they're awesome. But number two is the fact that G bodies are finally starting to get some traction, no pun intended, in the industry, in the pro touring world. And a S10 is a G body.
Yeah.
At least its front half is. And so, it's business in the front, party in the rear with the solid axle. But if you go to Alston and get a rear frame rail kit like I did, you can put
The
one on the
back of
back of
yours
your
is a G
S10.
body.
Yes, and it is a G body. My blades are Crosby and I put in the triangulated 4-link G body setup from Chris Alston's Chassis Works in the
Which has
back of mine,
got to
and
be the
it's awesome.
simplest thing in the world to build.
Ever. It was
All right,
unreal.
This is bringing up a question. I want to see what your opinion is on this, Chad.
Okay.
All right, so I'm a big fan of alternate chassis. Like, you want to build an F body, you pick an X body. You want to, basically the manufacturers are lazy. There's a lot of shared parts among the chassis.
Yes. I got you.
So you're right. Yeah, G bodies are, they're picking up steam, and there's nothing that stopped you from building an S10, even if you didn't go that route. So what is it stops people from expanding that horizon? Because you could find like a built second-gen Camaro anywhere, but the likelihood of finding a built Disco Nova, which is the same thing underneath, at least in the front half, never going to happen unless I win the lottery. So what's your thought?
It's funny you say that because what McTaggart's talking about, if you guys aren't thinking along the lines, he's talking about a GMX body, which is the Novas. Okay. So that's like any of the Novas that are from, and Pontiacs and Oldsmobiles and all the other Buicks and whatever bullshit it was that was a Nova with those badges on it. They were from 1970,
68 to 74 is
68 was first gen. Yeah. But it's 68 to 78, I believe.
Well, it goes
79.
68 to 74.
79.
Body uses the first generation Camaro subframe. And then 75 to 79 X body uses second.
Yeah, uses second gen Camaro. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it literally, the car underneath doesn't know it's not a Camaro. And one thing to note, while the 69, 70 Nova looks like a bigger car than a 68 Camaro or a 69 Camaro, it is in fact smaller and lighter. They are lighter than a Camaro. And I would argue that the Aero probably is as good as well. And they also allow you to put a much bigger tire in the rear and get them much lower because the quarter
They actually have
straight
a
up and down.
bigger inner fender well on the front as well.
They do. That is true because the fender itself, the is so straight up and down that it's actually the same width as a 69 Camaro fenders, but a 69 Camaro fender, an inch of it is the pointy that sticks out. So the Nova is using that for tire clearance. So it's actually that the fender and stuff sticks away from the frame further, but it makes that inner wheel well bigger. So I think you can put a 295 on one of those with no
problem.
Yeah, no suspension changes at all. And then
you can do like Ed Capon did and put all 69 Camaro stuff on it.
Which is why he was able to do it. The width was all the same. All he did was add the peaks in the doors of the Nova to have a 69 Camaro nose on it. And I have to admit, it looked cool. It looked cool.
When he told me about that, I thought he was crazy, but
me too.
It turned out good.
I thought he was nuts too. He literally at Pleasanton showed me the fenders just bolted on.
Yep.
That they actually bolt on. Like they didn't line up, but they bolted right on. And I'm like, no way. This is gonna, oh my God. I can't believe this, But it was pretty cool.
Something I learned from my dirt track racing days, Chad, I just sent you a picture of it. There was a guy in our class that ran one of these Cadillacs, and which I did not know they shared all the same suspension as the Camaro.
Yeah.
Seville. Yeah.
Which that car has been a bucket list car for me now. That
Seville?
Yeah.
No.
Plus side.
Yeah, the
Seville.
square Seville. The earlier ones. Yeah.
Yep.
No, it was basically basically the same as a
The
second
Nova.
gen Nova.
Camaro
Yeah.
Nova. Yeah, they shared
It's
all
a
the same
Nova
stuff.
with a
Yep.
slight wheelbase stretch.
And what was funny is
Yeah, I think so, McTaggart.
the guy ran this Cadillac, and people are just like, "How is this car competitive?" And it was just like he used all the same parts. It's just a different platform.
There was one in Upland in the mid to late 80s running around on the street that was on a Coleman chassis with a quick change in it. It had a
That's
clutchless,
cool.
had a 360 sprint car motor in it. And
Yeah.
you'd hear him coming down the street, and he's like looking, and you're like, that is a Cadillac Seville making all kinds of weird clunking and clanging and growling
That's
noises.
awesome. I
Yeah.
love
It
it.
was
And
bitching.
I had a chance to buy one probably 10 years ago, but
That's
it
what you
was
need, another project, Wickman.
exactly that was the thing.
Okay, so my last topic that I've written down for trucks is power plants, drivetrains, and what's going to be, if you think anything is going to come out of the woodwork this year. And I know that McTaggart and I will agree on this one because we've had this discussion in other chat groups. But the LV3 and the
The LV3, the
LVT,
LV6, and whatever
yeah,
the Camaro
that are
engine, which I don't think is the same one, but
no, but they're the 4.3 liter V6 that's come in full size Chevy pickups and vans and stuff for the last few years. It's a LS, though there's two of them. There's one that's an LS and one that's an LT, just 6-cylinder. So it's just like the 4.3 V6 from in the old days was a 350 that they took 2 cylinders out of. This is just a LS or an LT. So the difference, one is regular fuel injection, and one of them is DI, direct injected. But they make real power. I think they're factory rated at like 300 horsepower or close to it. There are a bunch of parts for them. Brian Tooley and all these guys are doing camshafts and everything else for them. And you can get them pretty cheap and do a swap into anything. And the cool thing is, in old full sizes, this is still more power than a 350 made, so it'd be a good combo. And it's lighter,
Yeah.
it's aluminum, all aluminum, all that. But then the other part about it is, in the mini trucks, right? Like putting a small block in a D50 is cramming it in there, right? Putting a small block in a Mazda is not easy. In a Nissan, it's easier by far than in a Mazda. Like there's just some of the trucks, the space between the core support and the firewall makes it so getting a V8 in there is just so wedged in. But these are a few inches shorter. I think we could be seeing these showing up in S10s and other mini trucks. I think one in an S10 would be pretty rad.
Well, and then there's what we were talking about last night, too.
Oh, yeah, but that's a whole other thing. And we can't tell the world this. We have to crush them with our idea first.
So I've driven a car that had an LV6 swap, I believe, the LT version, whatever it is.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
It's in a 78 Pontiac, was a test car. And I was restricted to 4,000 RPM. I was restricted to speed. And I can tell you that even with those restrictions, it was night and day difference over, say, whatever small block that you probably pulled out of the junkyard and shoved in an S10. It moved well. It didn't sound like a wet fart like most GM6s do. Good bottom end torque, pulled the car along great, especially when it backed up.
And the other thing, McTaggart, is you could probably make them meet emissions easier than a lot of the motors.
Well, this is where I'm throwing a wrench in the argument, because while I agree that's definitely an engine that we need to start looking at, a lot of people haven't. A lot of people don't want to mess with it. A lot of people haven't figured, I don't know if anybody's figured out the computer backing or how to make it play nice, or if there's even ways to do that. To my knowledge, Holly never went forward and finished up the program with that car. Last I heard,
I don't know that they have it set up as as one that is just a plug and play, but I know that you can run it because I know that all the sensors on it are the same as the sensors that are in an LS. So it will work with all the Holley EFIs. You're just going to have to do your own harness and your own configuration to only do the 6 injector drivers. You know what I mean?
Right. But you figure out a way around these little issues, and at this point, they are little issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely a way to go. I'm amazed. Again, this is not my world. I don't do mini trucks, but the EcoBoost, that's 310 horsepower out of whatever wrecked Mustang you find. There's shitloads of those.
Oh, yeah.
And I have started. I mean, we've seen a little bit here with that Chrysler 6-cylinder, the Hurricane. That's a little bit big for a mini truck, but that's a hell of a lot better than a slant 6.
Right.
Well, the guy, what he had it in a Dakota, and what was the other one that had it?
The other one was a D150.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
D150, and that's a perfect application for it because you're yanking out 88 horsepower of disappointment that leans a little bit, and you're at least 450 horsepower in the low end with one of those.
Yeah. That's awesome.
What's up, Steven?
Steven's in the house. Steven, I'm going to call you tomorrow or Friday. The thing to me, I've never cared about engine swaps in mini trucks very much. Like, they're cool if it's a S10 that you're gonna race or whatever. But when I say minis, I mean like laid on their balls cruiser mini trucks. I've never cared about what was under the hood because they were just cruisers. It's just they are reliable. They run nice. Exactly.
They weren't supposed to go fast.
No, and I never cared again about anything. And in fact, I was not the guy that wanted to do underhood like show prep because I cannot stand it when you walk up to a car and the hood's open because I want to see it without the hood. And so I never wanted to open the hood. The shit always looks better with the hood down. I mean, come on.
I got to a point when I was showing that the outside of my truck was spotless, and I drove in and parked it. I didn't open doors. I didn't open the hood. I didn't care because, in my opinion, I thought it looked a lot better all closed up.
Me too. Yeah. And as a guy who shoots photos of cars for a living all the time, you guys and McTaggart and Wickerman, you both know this. When you walk up to a car and it's super awesome, but everything on it is open and you can't see any of how awesome it is because the paint job now isn't continuous because the door's hanging open and all that.
It's 50 on one half.
And that was one of the things too, when I was shooting for ICA, that I would have to take vehicles with everything open, and then I would have to get with the owners of the cars before that when they're shutting it up for the night. Basically, hey, can you close up all your doors and trunks and hoods and all that?
Yeah,
because I've got to take pictures of it all closed up, and would go around and spend 3 hours like photographing all these cars again.
Right.
Everything closed up.
How weird people actually get when you make that request.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a couple of times I was like, I got a guy that I forgot what car it was. It was on the ISCA. I mean, it was a grade 8 car at one time and all that. And he refused. I wouldn't say refused, but he didn't close everything all the way. Basically, it was like the hood on the first latch, the doors on the first latch, the trunk on the first latch. I mean, yeah, he closed it, but they weren't fully like.
Because the body lines don't match up, probably.
That's what I was kind of.
That's interesting, but you're probably right.
Yeah.
But what I was getting to earlier, Chad, is that sooner or later we're going to have to start addressing the emissions issues.
I agree. I've been vocal about that for years, and people don't want to hear it because everybody lives in. I say everybody. Because people think that they live in a state without emissions laws. And that's just not true. And it does not matter what Trump does or does not do to repeal any or all EPA regulations. They will be back. They will. It doesn't matter. This is all a stunt.
And usually when they come back with a vengeance.
Correct. Because they're going to want to punish the prick. So that's not how we want to worry with this, right? We want to be good stewards. And that's not hard to do.
You look at the positive.
What was that, McTaggart?
20 years of high power engines that we've had, LS, LT, Gen 3, Coyote, you're spoiled
Yeah.
for choice. 4 cylinders are spoiled for choice. There is no reason you can't have 300 horsepower and at least 20 miles per gallon, if not better, at any point in time in any vehicle at this rate.
Right.
Agreed. 100%. You are
Well,
right.
it's like,
There is no excuse. And let's not forget that the guys that have always been the bad guys in the history of hot rodding and custom trucks and all that were the guys with the old stuff. Okay. All us muscle car guys, right? We were the bad guys. You 50s and 60s and 70s cars that were real gross polluters, right? And so it's easy for us to be the bad guys, but then somebody gets a brand new car and makes all these modifications to them and doesn't do them with, emissions in mind, right? By using a tune that is, is efficient and is clean and all those things, even if your state doesn't have a visual inspection, one where it has to pass the sniff, etc. There's nothing wrong with that. And anybody that, like Crosby, that grew up in Southern California, knows that the air there today is like 1,000% clearer than it was 25 years ago.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
yeah, we used to have to stay in the schoolroom because the smog was so bad.
Correct.
No, look at
They
look
had
at that
stages of smog.
Yes. Yeah. It was 1 through 4 or
1
through
through 5.
Yeah.
There were like episodes of Chips where you could not see like 5 miles because it was so flipping bad.
Dude, on Wilshire Boulevard in like 2000 or 2001, I was driving down Wilshire in front of Peterson Publishing and heading west toward the beach, and it was dusk and not dark. It was like you couldn't see the sun anymore, but you could see all the golden rays and shadow, right? Well, you could not see 2 streetlights up on Wilshire.
Oh,
Yep.
So I left a light that was green. It turned green and I looked up. I could see 1 block ahead. The next light was red. And the next block up from there, I could not see the street light. And that was 25 years ago.
Yeah.
No fires?
True story.
No fires. That was just smog. Yeah. And again, so it really does work. All right. And Doug DeLay right here says, I have to pass the sniffer, right? Because he lives in Southern California. And so he's putting all carb legal stuff on his Camaro. The reality of it is this, though. Like the superchargers from Edelbrock, right? Or Magnuson or Whipple or ProCharger, any of them. If they have a carb EO number on them, they're totally legal. You can run them in any state. But also, you got to know that if, let's just say it was a ProCharger kit and the kit that's carb legal comes with a D1SC and their non-carb legal kit comes with a D1SC also, they make the same power. It's the same blower. Maybe the pulley size is different for the emissions legal one. That's an easy swap, dude. That's no big deal, right? And you're still keeping a clean ride. So you can drive to the racetrack and you want more boost in it. You change the pulley, which takes 15 minutes, race it all night, take the pulley off, do it, or put it on and drive it to the racetrack, race it, drive it back home, put it back in cruiser mode after that. Like, it's just not a big deal. It has never been easier to make more horsepower or ever been easier to be clean with the cars you have. And why wouldn't we want to? It doesn't cost us any more money or take any more work in the grand scheme of things. I mean, not for most people. And you can still 100% do an engine swap in a vehicle in the state of California. That is totally legal still. You can absolutely do it. And there is referee stations specifically in place to be able to certify things like your engine swapped car. And as long as you talk to them ahead of time and make sure you're right on primarily the charcoal canister situation and that stuff, then, dude, that thing will go through emissions really simply when they put a sticker on it that says, treat this like a 2010 Camaro, right? So that's exactly what my Blazer is set up as, is an E-Rod crate motor package that's the same as a 2010 Camaro. And you know what the beauty is? Edelbrock has a supercharger that is still CARB-EO legal on that E-Rod crate engine. And
Well,
with that blower, you can make, you know,
it was like
575 or something,
the
600.
power tour when we took the 32,
Yeah.
Josh's truck and Mark Allen's truck. 32 got 21 miles a gallon. Josh's truck got almost 23, and Mark Allen's with LT4 in it got 22 miles a gallon.
Yeah.
And taking a
And this
540-inch big block out of that thing.
Yeah.
What were you saying,
I mean,
McTaggart?
this turd made about 23, 24 miles per gallon on the half tank we got out of it before I blew the engine on Power Tour.
Right.
Yeah.
24 miles
And that
per gallon
thing's
out
got
of 4,200 pound. And that's what.
Yeah, because it's got a
360
360 in it that doesn't make a lot of power, so it, you know, it's sipping fuel, and then it's got now the TKX in it with the overdrive. Like, that's a big deal. That really gets that thing lower in the RPM. I mean, you're using less fuel. That's great. It's got conservative rear end gears in it and stuff. That makes that car like a much more enjoyable cruiser with the 5-speed and stuff, you know.
And that's the plan for my C10.
373 is not conservative in this thing. 373 moved.
Oh no, but it's not a 456 gear or something like that. It was a reasonable gear with no overdrive, but now you have overdrive. Yeah. It becomes this great deal on the on the street. So
what is the overdrive? What is the over in that one?
6.8.
Yeah.
6.8.
Yeah.
Because they do have a 7.2 or 7.3 as well.
Yeah. Nope, it's the 6.8.
But yeah, that's the plan for my
6.8 on this one.
But that's still going to be what? How big's the rear tire on it? How tall?
I could say
30.
It's a 275 60 15, so it's 29.
Yeah, right about 29.
Yeah. Yep.
And half 29, something like that.
Well, with the overdrive on, it makes that thing think it's got a 268 ring and pinion in it.
Yep.
Which with a 28 plus inch tall tire, that thing just loping along. That's awesome.
Like 20 or 26 to 2,700 RPM at 70.
And that's with a 170 360 that was on its way out the door.
It's going to be amazing once you put the Gen 3 in. Like, the Hemi is going to be awesome.
That's going to be a completely
hang around
different.
minutes after you shut down. I've got a few things to talk to you about afterwards.
Oh, okay.
You
see a greedy little smile there.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so last thing, boys. Last thing before we go, I'm going to do a little bit of a poll here. Because we for the featured image for the show logo tonight, I used all of the following trucks. So we're going to judge these 1 to 10. Give them a 1 to 10 score each one as we scroll through them. There's like 6 or 8 of them. All right, ready?
Okay.
Wickman.
Well, the thing is, I know what photos you're going to use, and I know mostly the history of all these trucks. So knowing this truck, the build and all that, this is basically a 9.5 out of 10.
Yes. Okay. McTaggart.
Yeah, I got to go 9 as well. It's too clean.
It is. All right. Crosby.
I'm going to go 9.
Yeah, I saw this thing in person, and it is very nicely done street rod like level of nice.
It is not one of my favorite body styles.
He's out of the Pacific Northwest. He took it to the good guys in Washington, and I guess everyone just lost their shit because they didn't know what it was and how.
Yeah, because people thought it was that it was something he made.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that it didn't really come as a unibody and all that, so okay. So next, classic, like 4.6 OBS. You can give it credit or not for the front, for the wheels. I don't care.
7, because I don't like 3 spokes.
I don't like 3 spokes either. I hate them, but I love the truck. Okay, go ahead, McTaggart.
I'm going 8 because that is exactly Sport Truck 94. Dead
It is.
on.
100%, brother. It is. All right, Wickman.
Well, that sucks. Like I was one of the. I'm not saying I was the first person, but I was one of the first people to run a billet 3-spoke wheel in the early '90s on the mini truck, which people kind of like thought was crazy. But I mean, it's that wheel is just so played out now. It's like I'm over it.
I just can't do the 3. The 3 is
Yeah,
I didn't like them when they came out,
Me
and the
neither.
deuces were
This
even
is-
worse.
I mean, this
Oh
is
my
literally
God, yes.
something in 1994 you could have gone down to your Chevy dealership or GMC dealership in Southern California and bought that truck right off the lot, just as you see it.
Absolutely.
That
And it's
truck probably
perfect.
came from Richard Hibbard in Clown.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's probably an 8 for me, just because of, I mean, what it is. I mean, it
Oh, yeah.
sucks that.
Agreed.
I can get to it.
Okay. Classic square body with a 4.6 or a 5.7 on it. I'll go first. I like it. It's cool. It's not a color I would have normally chosen for a single instead of a two-tone, but it is a trim truck, which I like. And other than, yeah, the wheels are just a little off for me. They feel a little too much like a factory Camaro wheel or something. And of course, it's not low enough, but that's going to be everybody's problem. So I'm going to give it a 7. Wickman.
I'm with you on that, Chad. On the 7, it's just that truck of that era is too nice for me. I mean,
Yep.
It's like it's almost yeah. I'll take it to dinner or take it to the cruise night, but it's not something that I'm gonna jump in and drive like 5 hours to go to a show or a buddy without like afraid of I'm gonna get a rock chip in that big ass nose of a hood.
Right. Yeah, that would suck, wouldn't it? Okay, next.
I got 3 spokes.
Do what?
I still got 3 spokes.
Oh, you do, yeah. All right, McTaggart, what do you think of this Blazer right here?
I'm waiting for the picture to load.
Oh.
Okay, there we go.
There you go.
I'm 6 of everything up until I get to the rolling stock.
Okay.
The wheels are too big, and I'm not that big on the whole tucked that deeply in the back. If this thing had a real nice set of 17 to 20 inches, I'd be much better. I'd be much happier with it. I don't mind the color. I don't mind the overall sport truck look, but the wheels make me think of those. See those Dub toys where they were like that? That's what I'm thinking.
What do you think, Crosby?
7.
I'm going to give it an 8.
Because of the wheels.
Yeah, I'm going to give it an 8, but I am going to say, actually, no, I'm going to give it a 7 also because there's 2 things wrong with it. And you guys may not be able to tell this one other thing. So yeah, the wheels are wrong. If you have to tuck them that far in to run that big a rim, you're using the wrong size rim. Because a wheel that's tucked too far in looks like shit to me. So I don't like those. The other thing is that there's no filler panels. This thing has a $1 jillion paint job on it, but it has no filler panel between.
Yeah, I was just looking at that.
Yeah, the grill.
I bet you because the tire ripped it out.
Probably, or it will, so they didn't put it on. And notice that the bumper has also been moved out further forward, probably for the same reason.
Yep. They should have just cut the end of the bumper off.
I'm revising my number to a 5.
Yeah, my opinion on this one is that it was not finished. It was rushed. That was finished on the trailer or at the show because you look at the windows, every window is tinted.
Oh, that's true.
So that tells me
that's the old you can't see my interior trick.
That means the inside probably it doesn't even have wheel tubs, I would bet. I bet it doesn't have wheel tubs on the inside.
Oh, I love where your head's at, dude. Okay, I'm going first. 11.95. Oh, we're only supposed to do 10. 9.995. How's that?
Am I
McTaggart?
up?
That leaves
Oh.
the question: what the hell are you knocking it for?
I'll tell you in a minute. All
It's a
right,
personal
go
thing
ahead,
when I say it doesn't.
Crosby.
It doesn't do it for me.
I'm gonna give it a 9,
All
but
right.
I have never been that whole graphic style has never been my thing.
Right. What do you think there, Wickman?
I know the person that owned this truck when it was done. He was the one that built it. Stacy
Yep.
Campbell out of Magnolia, Texas.
Yep.
Pat Maxwell Graphics. I'm going to give it a 9 just because I'm one of those ones. I hate 4-wheel drive sheet metal on Toyotas.
Oh God, don't even go there.
I am going to go
Okay.
there. I am one of those people. I had a body drop. I
You
had
have a
2-wheel drive
long
sheet metal.
bed OBS truck. Shut up.
There. That's
I
a good
had
point,
2-wheel drive
Crosby.
sheet metal on my mini truck that was body dropped, and I did not rub. So I don't want to hear shit like, "Oh, I have to have front wheel
You
drive."
have a
or front wheel
long
drive.
bed
better.
OBS truck. That
It's
has
not about
19
it's not about
springs
rubbing. The
against
fenders just look better.
Correct.
Bah.
Dude, and okay, so I'm gonna give it a 9.995. I love this truck. My only criticism is I love it, but the wheels are just slightly not right for me. I feel like the only thing that could make this thing better would be white and chrome Porsche alloys.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, oh, that would be perfect.
Now to stay on the Toyota subject real quick. Grinder TV put out a video yesterday or 2 days ago with the red Toyota that he bought.
Yep,
Did you see the wheels that he got with that truck?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
one-off
lucky
Boyds.
son of a
Yeah,
I'm
man.
looking at the F100 in the background. I like it better than the toy.
That's his daughter's
That-
truck.
that's
I
exactly.
agree.
Yep, it's awesome.
Yeah,
It
she
is.
won. She won some Good Guys awards with that truck.
Yeah, several. Yeah,
Yeah.
That thing's cool.
it is cool. They do really, really nice work there.
Yeah.
Okay. This is 1991. Like, I turned the torsion bars down and put a 3-inch block on the back of it, and I got enough money to buy some prime billets. And look at me, I have a mini truck, and I love it because it is exactly that. Like this, the wheels are the only thing on this thing that costs more than $25. Like everything else about this truck is literally like you could have bought 3-inch blocks for $20, and you can turn the torsion bars down with a wrench. Like
Now,
Yeah.
see if it had 4-wheel drive front fenders on it and a reasonable wheel on it, it'd look good.
Yep. If it
That-
had 4-wheel drive fenders on it, then it could be lower because this tire wouldn't rub the fender
Yep.
right there.
that is one thing about the 84 to 88. This the 4-wheel drive sheet metal does.
It already has the 4-wheel drive bed on it.
Oh God, that's
the
too
88
good.
to 95 Toyotas. The 4-wheel drive sheet metal did not go with the bed. The 84 to 88s do. Yeah,
I know what you're
do
saying.
not say
I still
anything
think
because
you're
you know
wrong.
I'm right.
Okay,
10,
Yeah,
what'd you say? 10?
10.
yeah. That truck's
McTaggart?
Wait, the B series, or are we still talking about the
Yeah.
Toyota? Those two
No, the
are
B
arguing
series,
about.
the one in front of you, the B series.
I'll go 8. I like the overall
Okay.
theme.
Yeah.
They
All
might-
right. So
okay. I'm going to be
saying-
picky here.
No, wait. I get to be picky first. It's so I'm giving it a 10, and there are 3 things about it that really make me happy. And the first one is that it has a bumper on the back instead of a roll pan. Even though I love roll pans, I think it's cool that it has a bumper on the back. It is still 6-lug, which makes me happy. I'm a 6-lugsman. And it does not have a Toyota bumper swap on the front,
Right.
even though I really like those. And so it's cool. And I'm normally not a Phantom Grill fan, and I'm loving it. I would drive this just the way it is.
Yep.
That rear end,
It's smooth. If
I
you're
would
gonna do
say
it like that,
I would say the rear end has been narrowed because those wheels are square, front and rear.
Oh, gotcha.
Because on the Mazdas, any wheel, I mean, the Mazdas will tuck in the front, but they do not tuck in the rear.
Right.
So that is something's been done where you probably either use being 6-lug, I mean, hell, it could be a Toyota rear end and just swap the axles, or use a
No,
Courier rear
it
end,
would be a Nissan hard body rear end probably.
Probably
hard body,
because they were
or
narrower.
could use a Courier rear end and just use an adapter to run those wheels.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Uh,
Okay.
Yeah, but the adapter would have pushed them out too far, so that wouldn't work.
Oh, yeah,
and
that's
here's
true.
another one the same way. I meant
Yeah.
wheels are square and they're inside the bed lip, which that one I would say that is a different rear end, is because that wheel is like there's some space in there. I mean, there's literally at least an inch between the lip of the wheel and the fender.
This one is cool because this thing looks like all that's been done is it's been bagged.
Yep.
And the bed floor is raised. I can see that.
And
but that's, but otherwise
it has
looks
a
all
step
stock.
bumper on it.
I saw that. Yes. It's all stock. I dig it.
I'd give that a 9.
I dig this thing. There is something
I like
about
the Supra wheels.
Me too. The Supra wheels are what caught my eye the first time. And
Those
I like
are
that
not
it's a
Supra wheels.
4Runner
Those aren't
nose
Supras.
with 4x4 fender.
Those are not Supra wheels.
What the hell are they?
those are not Supras. Conquest.
Or Conquest.
Conquest,
Yes,
Starion.
yes,
Oh,
that's what
sorry.
it is. Dodge Conquest.
Yeah.
Yes. Starion. Yes.
Yep.
The
Sorry, I
Supras
didn't
were
mean to
very
offend.
similar, but those are Starion wheels.
But that's another thing on the Toyotas, though. For some reason, different shades of paint make the hood, especially this one, make it look like the hood has been modified when that is actually a stock hood.
Yeah. Yep.
Which a couple
I like
people,
this
because mine was a
Yeah, but
dark-
look how good that hood looks with those 4x front fenders on it.
That's what I said. You weren't listening to me.
I was listening. I was
I
just
wish I could
reiterating your dig.
Good.
But the thing is, with that 4x4 sheet metal, he put a whole 4Runner front end on it because it has the flush mount headlights.
Yes, it does. And I like it. All right, boys. Truck night, PowerShift numero uno 2025. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. We're
Hey, Wigman,
What?
don't fall down the stairs.
yeah, exactly. The
Trying to pick your nose? Or are you giving us your IQ?
I've got
He's just contemplating which nurse to ask for next time.
No, I've got 10 weeks of healing.
an invalid.
Being laid up. My leg is actually killing me right now because I don't have it elevated on the couch. But yeah, I've got 10 weeks being.
So
like
since
this.
you're in South Park and you're laid up, does that mean you're Timmy from South Park now?
No, I'm not in a wheelchair yet.
I forgot about the Peter thing until right now, Crosby.
But then I get the stitches out next week, and then we go from there. And do some X-rays. But yeah, 10 weeks of being immobilized till I'm healed, and then after that, I've got to go through rehab and learn how to walk again. Because basically,
all I want to do is make fun of you because I love you and you're expecting it, but it seems mean when you say all those not fun.
Yeah,
things.
but between my knee and my ankle is basically total foobar.
Well,
When
that's
they
true.
went in last week to do the surgery, They thought the fibula was just fractured. They didn't expect to find it in pieces.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
That's why the surgery took almost 5 hours.
I prefer to look at the positive side, Wickman. So you fell down the stairs, breaking your ankle/leg, which sounds horrible.
Yeah.
But at least you did not land on the wrist that you just had rebuilt like a couple
That's
months
just
ago when
That's
you
just that I
fell down.
did. I did. I mean,
Oh,
Oh shit.
I'm trying to get in to be seen, to have that checked out to make sure we're all good. I mean, I know I've lost some range of motion in it,
Ugh.
but the pain, I think because all the pain meds I'm on, I'm not feeling it really. So
Yeah.
that's kind of got me worried. But yeah, once I get in, I can get x-rays of it and just double check to make sure I didn't do anything to
Yeah.
that.
Now,
But
how are you testing this range of motion is what I want to know.
no, we don't. You're wrong.
well, I mean, I can do
Don't
this.
It's a
listen to
family show,
Crosby.
Crosby.
Don't listen to a damn thing that comes out of his mouth.
Okay, this is the left hand. This is the right. That's it.
Okay.
I mean, like,
Oh, I got you. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. I missed the first half of that, so I didn't know where you
yeah,
were
this
going.
is
but
left.
okay.
This is left.
Yeah.
This is right. That's it.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
that's definitely different.
Yeah.
That seems weird.
So,
All right. All right, boys.
So to end real quick,
Yeah.
I need to get rid of a Volvo wagon. If anyone's interested in a Volvo wagon, hit me up.
Oh, that's right.
I cannot drive it anymore.
Yep.
Pedals are too close. It's manual. And so I am willing to trade for any rear-wheel drive automatic type car from the 70s or 80s or truck. Something that's that the pedals are further apart, let's just say, so that when I can finally drive again, that I'm not trying to push pedals that are like this. And
Right.
Yeah.
Hey,
All right,
Cody
guys.
College, I saw your message on there. Hey, dude, I'll call you tomorrow.
Okay.
What's that, Brian?
Hey, what did you say, McTaggart?
Anybody got a 91 to 96 B bottom roll cage? If there's anybody I know needs one.
Roll cage.
Roll cage.
Yeah.
Hey, as many cars as he's rolled, as many accidents as he's been in, something with plush seats,
Yeah.
Master
That's
or
a good
Caprice.
call. Big car. Wickman will fit in it good.
I'm
Roll
just
bar
looking out for
and a
That's the
helmet.
thing.
Perfect.
I have for some reason I have a massive itch for a 1974 four-door Nova right now. Why, I do not know, but I would love to have one of those.
You need a giant hamster ball that's padded inside.
Yes. Here's the funny thing. You
need a 78
I
New York
thought
with
nobody on earth could possibly
from the
think
demo
of
derby
more
with
things he
footlights in it.
wanted than Wickman, and then than me, and then I met Wickman, and now I feel like I have no dumb ideas because he's stolen all of them. Like every day, oh, I want one of these, and we're gonna do this to it.
You're the only person I know that's done more damage to himself than Wink Eller.
Ooh,
And this is a guy that's known on YouTube for stitching himself up at Bonneville and going back out and get back on the bike.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Quick story. I was at Navasota, Texas at an outlaw track watching 8th Mile Racing. Someone lost a bet and was trying to evacuate the track as quickly as possible. Backing up their trailer, which I did not see in the pits, basically hit me in the leg, put this gaping hole in my leg. They shut the races down because they only had one ambulance to take me into Bryan, which was almost like a half hour away, to the emergency room to get stitched up. So basically, I get back to the track, or actually the ambulance comes back. They're all happy because they can get racing back underway, which I was already on.
This delay in racing is brought to you by Charles Wickman.
Yeah.
So then I'm in Navasota. I was driving my Mazda extra cab, which was a 5-speed manual. I had stitches in my leg and had to drive 2.5 hours home on meds with stitches. And I had my
Awesome.
right leg literally over the tunnel, driving with my left leg.
Been there.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd put that
How
on a
long was the
resume if I were you.
No, I
No.
think Crosby's right. I would
But actually, the Mazda, that was the Mazda
make
that I
that need to
posted
know.
the other day on the Where Are They Now mini truck page.
All right. On
All right,
that
you
happy
boys.
note.
Yep.
On that, yeah.
Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Appreciate you guys. Have a great week. And we'll do it again in 2 weeks.
I got a couch I can go
Yeah,
go
2
lay on.
weeks.
See ya.
Later, ladies.
See y'all.
See ya.